From the colorful pages of comic books to the silver screen, Marvel Studios has become a global powerhouse, revolutionizing the entertainment industry. But how did it all begin? Was Marvel destined for greatness, or was it a series of fortunate accidents? Behind the epic battles and legendary heroes lies a story full of risks, bankruptcies, power struggles, and unexpected victories. This is the untold story of Marvel Studios. Marvel's story doesn't begin in Hollywood. It starts in the late 1930s with a small comic book company known as Timely Publications, founded by Martin Goodman. At that time, comic books were considered cheap entertainment for children. Little did anyone know, it was the birth of what would become a media giant. In 1961, Timely became Marvel Comics under the leadership of Stan Lee, alongside visionary artists like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko. They introduced characters who would redefine the comic world. The Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Iron Man, the X-Men, and the Incredible Hulk. Marvel's success on paper was undeniable. At its peak, Marvel was selling over 50 million comics annually. Their characters resonated with readers because they were flawed, human, and relatable. They didn't just wear masks and fight villains. They had real problems, just like their audience. But despite their success in print, Marvel as a business was far from stable. The comic book industry faced numerous challenges, including fluctuating markets and competition. By the 1990s, the superhero craze was dying down. Marvel's reliance on comic sales wasn't enough to keep the company afloat. They were on the brink of collapse more than once. Could the heroes they created save Marvel itself? By the mid-1990s, Marvel had overextended itself. The comic book boom of the 80s had faded, and the company was drowning in debt. In 1996, Marvel filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Stock prices plummeted from $35 a share to just $2.25, and over 275 employees were laid off. A once thriving empire was brought to its knees. Marvel's assets were sold off in a desperate bid to survive. Iconic characters like Spider-Man, X-Men, and the Fantastic Four were licensed to other studios. Columbia Pictures, 20th Century Fox, and Universal. This was a dark period with no end in sight. Enter Avi Arad, Marvel's CEO at the time. He knew that if Marvel were to rise again, it needed a new direction. And so, Arad decided to gamble, to stop depending on licensing and merchandising, and to bring Marvel's characters to the big screen. This move wasn't just ambitious, it was unprecedented. In 2005, after years of failed attempts to launch successful films, Marvel Studios was born. They didn't just want to make movies. They wanted to control their destiny. By financing their own projects, Marvel was no longer dependent on other studios. But the risks were astronomical. The first project? Iron Man, with a budget of $140 million. At the helm of this new venture was Kevin Feige, a producer with an audacious vision to create a shared cinematic universe, something that had never been done in film. Feige wasn't just thinking about individual movies. He was planning a decade-long interconnected saga. This vision would change Hollywood forever. When Iron Man hit theaters in 2008, no one knew what to expect. The character wasn't even a top-tier hero, and Robert Downey Jr., the actor portraying him, was a controversial choice due to his troubled past. But when the credits rolled, the film was a massive success, grossing over $585 million worldwide. Marvel's gamble had paid off. Iron Man wasn't just a movie, it was the foundation for something much larger, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. But the real test was yet to come. After Iron Man, Marvel continued to release hit after hit. Thor in 2011, Captain America, The First Avenger, and the much-anticipated team-up film, The Avengers in 2012. The box office returns were staggering, with The Avengers grossing over $1.5 billion worldwide, becoming the third highest grossing film of all time. The MCU had become a cultural phenomenon. By the end of 2019, the MCU had released 23 films, grossing over $22.5 billion globally. It wasn't just the numbers, though. Fans connected deeply with the stories and characters, creating a loyal and dedicated following. Marvel's success wasn't just in ticket sales. It extended into merchandise, theme park attractions, and television shows. By 2020, Marvel became one of the most valuable brands in the world, and Disney, who purchased Marvel for $4 billion in 2009, was reaping the benefits. But even as Marvel dominated the entertainment industry, darker rumors began to surface. Was all this success coming at a cost? Behind the glittering success of Marvel Studios, tensions were brewing. Kevin Feige, who had become the face of Marvel's cinematic success, clashed with Marvel Entertainment's CEO, Ike Perlmutter. Perlmutter was known for his frugality, cutting budgets wherever possible, even on films that were destined to be blockbusters. In 2015, the creative clash came to a head. Feige, frustrated with Perlmutter's interference, threatened to leave the company. Disney CEO Bob Iger stepped in, giving Feige more control and essentially cutting Perlmutter out of the creative process. But the problems didn't stop there. As the MCU grew, directors and actors began to express frustrations. Edgar Wright left Ant-Man over creative differences, and Natalie Portman nearly quit after disputes over Thor. There was also growing concern about superhero fatigue. With multiple movies a year, was the MCU at risk of oversaturating the market? Could this seemingly unstoppable franchise eventually burn out? Despite these challenges, Marvel shows no signs of slowing down. With new heroes like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Shang-Chi, Marvel has embraced diversity, bringing fresh voices and faces into the MCU. The MCU continues to evolve, with TV shows on Disney Plus now intertwining with the films, creating an even more complex and immersive universe. Marvel's newest phase is poised to be its boldest yet, with cosmic adventures, multiverse crossovers, and legacy characters passing the torch to a new generation of heroes. What started as a small comic book company has grown into the most successful film franchise in history. Through innovation, risk-taking, and an unwavering dedication to storytelling, Marvel Studios has changed the way we experience entertainment. But the question remains, will the MCU's reign continue, or will the heroes we've come to love face their greatest challenge yet?